All right, today we are now live with the On The Impact, first ever Genshin Impact Podcast, done by me, Raxer. And the date is October 14th, 2020, as of this recording. I'm joined together with my compatriots who will introduce themselves in a fashionable order, starting with Excellent.
I am Exy. I play games occasionally, but I tend to enjoy doing math.
Did you say math?
Yeah, get down and try to figure like damage numbers and shit.
Oh,
The stats, bro. The
Yeah,
statistics.
yeah.
Up next is another good friend of mine, TJ.
Hey, what's going on, guys? TJ or TJ Laser. Enjoying playing Genshin Impact. Having fun. Just a gamer in general. You know, we're all gamers in here. So, but looking forward to great things for this game going forward.
And last, but certainly not least, my boy, out from far eastern from us.
Brazil.
All right. He lives in the future, just by quite a bit.
Yeah, all right.
Now,
Is that it?
introduce yourself.
You want anything else that
No?
No? All right. My name is Z. I'm a hardcore degenerate. I love anime. I play a lot of video games, like a lot. And yeah, that's basically it.
All right.
I don't use Twitter. Don't follow me.
So, we've been playing Genshin Impact for... Wait, when did it came out?
Release? Yeah.
This is important. I'm gonna go Google that.
I'm Googling right now. 28th September.
All right. It's been out for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, how has everyone been enjoying it 2 weeks in? Or actually, maybe rather, let's start with, how did you feel when you first started the game?
I don't know. Kind
I
of
think
neutral.
like with my thing is when I first saw the game, I didn't really see it as a gacha at first. I saw it as like an RPG and like a free roam. So my first impression on it was like mostly about the exploration instead of the everything else at first. I'll be honest.
Kind of the same, to be honest. Seeing as like I remember my first interaction with Genshin Impact was one of my IRL friends showing me like, "Yo, look at this game. It's pretty cool. That it's gonna be out and it's gonna be free, like next year." I'm like, "All right, that's neat, I guess." And then I never really batted an eye again. So I wasn't really as hyped as most people when it actually came out, and I also didn't participate in the beta like some people. But the first thing I thought when I played it was just like, this is a very, very pretty game, actually. Even though I had the settings on low because it fried my PC when I put it on high for the first few seconds, and that was just the first time. And then I turned it to high again later, and then it was totally fine. I don't know why I did that. Yeah. I was just looking forward to exploring, just like XE, because the world's very pretty, obviously.
I think I'd actually discovered about Genshin Impact earlier this year, like in the spring. Back then, I was like browsing for games, and I watched one of those YouTube videos where it's like top 10 upcoming 2020 RPGs, and
Yeah, where like a little trailer or something.
Yeah, and I saw Genshin Impact was in it, and I was like, "Yo, this game looks beautiful. What is this?" And then they talked about co-op, and I was like, "Yo, let's go." And then I kind of forgot about it for a little bit over the summer. Completely missed that whole beta window, but I had pre-registered, I think in like June. I just didn't get into it. But that's how I learned about it, and then I was like super looking forward to it because I was like, one, it looks really, really good, and it was going to be on PC, so I was like, nice, something that looks good on PC. looks kind of anime, and also has co-op. So I was super hyped at the time. I had no idea it was like gonna be had like gotcha elements to it. I just thought it was like a straight RPG. But even with those elements, I still like. I've been really enjoying Genshin. I think it's a great game. I feel like it kind of raises the bar for some free to play games in some areas and aspects. But definitely been a great experience. But that's how I found out about it, at least. So, and I played it day one when it dropped, and it's been great.
Yeah, so I know that Xe actually, this is like his first time with like a gotcha sort of type of S game.
Well, I guess that's what I should say. It's my first time with a gotcha that is not really solely around like full on characters, but I guess in like a 3D perspective. Because like I played like Conqueror's Quest and like Guardian Tale before, but in hindsight, I will say like I guess more fleshed out would be like my first time playing an actual like game that's under the terminology of gotcha.
Did you ever play a gotcha type game, TJ or Rexer?
No, this is actually my first gotcha type game as well. I'm not really big into playing like mobile games and stuff. Like honestly, if this game didn't come out on PC, I probably wouldn't have played it. 'Cause I don't really play mobile games. But the fact that it is on PC, I am playing it. But no, I've never played another gotcha. This is the first gotcha I've ever played. So
That actually kind of demotivated me at first. When I heard it was also going to be a mobile game, I was like, fuck.
I
don't
wasn't
know.
gonna be demoted about it because like
I
you
was
could
kinda
play
like,
you
bruh.
could play some mobile games, but there's also like blue stacks that you can go through on.
Yeah. Rexa, did you
So-
ever play a gotcha game? Wait, you played. I'll let you speak for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I've definitely played several gotcha games. The amount that I've actually put money into is very low. Actually, hang on. I don't think I've put money into any of the other gotcha games except for MiHoYo, the company that actually made Genshin Impact. Their previous game, Honkai Impact, I put a little bit of money into. So a lot of my preconceptions about Genshin Impact actually come from Honkai Impact, which on its own as a mobile game, in a world where almost every mobile game had the autoplay function, it was actually really awesome that Honkai wasn't an autoplay type game and actually felt like a full action oriented type game. Still very gotcha. So
and like
it's all
and, like,
waifus.
yeah, well, it's also
The
like the gotcha in like small spots where like if you in hindsight if you like focus on other stuff, you don't really see the gotcha unless you're like I guess min maxing or something. But
that's the great thing about Genshin Impact is why I feel like helped its popularity is one, the devs, but two, the fact that to a lot of people when you're playing the game, it doesn't actually feel like a gotcha game. Like, and I feel like
True.
I feel like that's a big reason why this game is so popular. So
the other thing I do want to, because I remember at one point there was some like I saw some videos of like talking about the gotcha point, and I'd probably go back and look at for the video, but one person pointed out saying like the reason why it doesn't feel like a gotcha, and I agree, is mostly with most gotcha games they kind of like they fuel your addiction, give you like the premium currencies right off the bat, but then they dry that resource up and you're feeding off that addiction. Where with Genshin, they don't do that. Like you have like a steady like resource of it, but in small doses. But overall, it's not like it's like here's 100 free draws to get like these awesome characters, but only for one time only.
Honestly,
Yeah.
like I think the reason Genshin Impact's so popular, or with our group, I don't know if it's actually is it. I don't know if it's really that popular in general, but
it
I
is.
think the reason
Oh, it is.
why it is popular is mostly because there's been a lot of exposure, like like all the betas and stuff, and all the trailers, and like I mean, obviously, like the previous game,
And
or like
obviously,
games.
like
I
it's
will
all
say
oh.
the betas actually didn't really do anything to like really bring this game up. It's just this game was definitely just dropped and like its tags being open world action RPG. That's the first thing
Yeah.
people see.
Yeah.
Another
And
thing is
Twitch streamers who's played it before too, that people has watched can also add that implication too.
Hmm.
another thing is this game didn't just come out on like mobile. It didn't only come out on PC.
Came out on
It didn't only come out on PS4. It came out on all three of these. It's
the same time.
cross play on all of them. You may not be able to play your account.
No,
You can't play your PC account on PS4, but you can play your PC account on mobile, which is what I do sometimes. Just
There
to
is no
spend some
crossplay
advice.
between PS4 and PC.
There is.
There is? Seriously?
Yeah, you
It's
can.
cross-over.
If you you can play with someone on PS4 if you're on
Oh,
PC.
so it's just your account?
Your account does not.
Yeah.
Your account
Okay.
also does not go across regions. Now, I'm looking at
See.
Twitch right now, and Genshin Impact's numbers are rocking the 47,000 viewers.
That's
Not
pretty good,
bad.
especially for like Twitch.
Like,
Oh,
when it came out, this game there was so many people on it. It was actually number one on Twitch, above Just Chatting and above Among Us. So, if that says anything,
It's a craze, I guess.
Yeah, like the other thing is like coming from like the people who like to like figure out stats and all. Like, how much damage you can punch try to be like put into this. Is that like with any like I guess like RPG / action game when there's like multiple stats, it allows you to like fully flush that stuff out. So of course, there's gonna be people out there wanting to know like how much damage you do if you have like this stat up to like this number. So there is that implication.
So like theory crafting, basically.
Yeah, theory crafting and hypothesizing, like, for example, like with me, like this might be like too soon, but like I know for a fact like when the new characters come out, I'm gonna be heavily like theory crafting because there's like one character I want to have a fuck ton of fun with, but I'll get to that later.
As of now, the banner is Venti, and then some other characters like Official, Jiangling, and one more.
Barbara.
Barbara and
Barbara.
Chongyun.
And Barbara and Chongyun. I already know that for the next banner, well, it's highly implied that the next banner is going to be Klee, and Klee's actually the character I wanted before there was any sort of like word of this around. So I'm actually like super excited for the next like week or so.
I will say another thing that definitely attributed to the game's popularity is when it released. The fact that the game came out end of September, which was well before holiday season, and just a little bit after like other games had dropped, people were kind of like in that weird stage transition period throughout the year where there's nothing really like out there to play. You just kind of keep playing what you've been playing. So
Yeah,
they
like
definitely
Among Us, for instance.
they were definitely smart on when they released the game because that definitely helps the player base and the popularity because people aren't focused on other titles and that game drops and like, oh sweet, I can play Genshin for like
they're
a
waiting for
bit of time.
content to come out too. Like
I remember there was like a game that flopped like a while ago. It got like released while another big game got released, and then it just completely flopped, and nobody bat an eye. Even though the game wasn't bad, I really can't remember what it was.
Are you talking about like Lawbreakers or something?
No, I don't think
Because I
so.
remember Lawbreakers was that like there's Lawbreakers came out at one point a while ago, a couple of years. It was like an Overwatch game, and they released it as soon as like I think Overwatch did like their release, and they got
Oh yeah, that's what it was. It was during Overwatch.
yeah.
Oh, that was. It was made by Gearbox.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Battleborn.
It was the MOBA
Battleborn.
sort of thing.
Battleborn is what it's called.
It was like Overwatch, but like different. I remember seeing some gameplay of it, and then I never got into it because
yeah, no, you're talking about Battleborn where you had
yeah, because my IRL friends were like, man, Overwatch puggers, and fucking loved Overwatch. So I was like, all
Yeah,
right. So I
like-
never really got the chance to like get into it, but I heard it shut down pretty quickly, or it was like not.
They put their DLCs out for free, and then it went to like shut down mode because just not enough players. But
Yeah, it's very sad to be honest.
I mean, overall, it's like still with Genshin though. It's like I mean, in general, with like game sitting out, it's always a risk if it's gonna like rise or fall. Like, it highly could happen that like the beginning we have that big high golden age drive of the game, and then it just plummets.
Of
After,
course.
but at the
Like
moment,
what TJ said, like the fact that it like the release of September, like right after a bunch of games came out, like like Fortnite was still rising, kinda. That was still kind of popular. Everyone kind of like stopped with the battle royale type of deals, and everyone was on Among Us now. And then Genshin Impact came out, so like you said, just everyone was kind of doing their own like thing and playing the things they've always been playing.
oh yeah.
And then Genshin Impact came out, and now people are crazed by that. So let's hope it stays that way because I fucking like this game.
I think it'll stay
Otherwise,
up.
otherwise I wouldn't have put like so much like time in it.
This game will definitely have its drop off, but it will have its hardcore player base. It'll have its staple.
Hmm.
Yeah, it'll have the people who's gonna like punch out the numbers and see like which character does this more, which character's better on this more.
Yeah, I'm
So
optimistic for what's to come. Honestly,
I guess that kind of ties into probably a next thing to talk about, which is so after like 2 weeks time gained adventure levels. I'm adventure rank 30. Was it? Did I just say 35 or 36 today? One of those is
36.
36. UZ said you were adventure rank 37.
Yeah,
TJ, what adventure rank are you?
I'm
33.
33 at the moment.
And XC, you are
I'm
30.
30. Just
All right.
well, 30 or 31. I know I'm just
So
very low 30.
we're definitely probably above the curve. We're like at one end of the curve of where people get to. Probably the like 5 to 10% of the player base playing Genshin Impact.
We're at like the slow stage now.
While
Yeah,
like everyone else probably playing the game still in like maybe their 20s or early 20s.
I
Uh,
know
so
this. Go on.
what is everyone's thoughts like 2 weeks into the game? Not this is no longer first impressions, possibly past honeymoon phase. How are you feeling about the game now?
I won't lie. At first, it was pretty fun. Like I'll even admit, like one of my most favorite characters was Noelle, the battle maid girl. But I will say when I got to like rank 27 to 28, I started to slowly fall down because even though I'm a theory crafter and I enjoy finding out stats, I am also a story. I enjoy like the stories, and at the moment, even though it's so new, there's not a whole lot of story, so I kind of like can't be hold off for a long times, and the paces do get rough for me. So overall, it's like the content's good and all, but I guess the pacing to me is a little bit in the rough patches
Mm.
for story wise.
I could definitely agree with the pacing of the game is kind of god awful. Like the amount of time you spend needing to level up your adventure rank is it feels so needless when
Like
what
with
they
me,
could do is just hey, you literally can't kill the mobs that are at this point
I feel
and
like
just do
with me, what I hate about it is like, like finally I get to do like more story, and I get to the point where it's like, hey, you're at this point where you have to get to this level. All right, we gotta get like 2 adventure ranks, which at that point, once you get there, you 9 out of 10 will probably forget some of the story unless you have a good memory, and then it's just kind of like a bland state. So I feel like it'd probably been better if they made it where it says it's recommended to be a adventurer rank 29, but you can
Yeah.
still do it. That way you can at least have like the 4 rank. Because I know like some side quests has it where like like a level like 19 can go do a level 40 quest or something.
Yeah, some games do have that sort of stuff where it's like recommended to do this sort of stuff because obviously there's always going to be a small portion of the player base who's like, man, fuck that, and then fucking just you know does whatever and just barges their way through. Like I'm one of those people. I like just forcing my way through some stuff, even though it's not recommended because I like challenges. I I definitely think it would have been better if they added that. Because I agree with Rexer. The pacing of the game is kind of bad, as in like you have to constantly rank up to keep going in the story you're trying to follow.
And obviously this is any game, but like kind of like how like MMOs like Final Fantasy and all, where like it stops you like at like a certain like climactic part. Like I think I don't want to say it because worry of spoilers and all, but for people who's gotten to it, like with the invitational, like they stop out when you get like an invitation. That's it. You got the to be continue part of the story for the main like quest of the traveler.
Yeah.
I think
No.
I was gonna say I think personally I have like a lot of opinions on how I think Genshin Impact is for me still currently. I think it's still a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
I think that the game does have certain tags that follow it that don't really match up, right? Like I don't really think calling Genshin Impact RPG is really like the right term to use for the game. I think
No.
I think it fits a lot of other things, but my thing with like RPGs and stuff is like once I start, because like I'm big into like playing other RPGs, like the Fallout's, the Skyrims, like the even the more niche RPGs stuff, right? And like with those, you always do feel like you have something to do, right? You're choosing to do something else over the other thing that you have to do, and right now, like once you like I really started to feel the drought like once I hit about like 29 like AR where you just run out of stuff to do, right? Like
Yeah.
you want to play the game, but it only consists of like doing
Min-max.
daily commissions, using up your resin, which you can do in like 5 minutes. Like
Yeah, it's like 6 Phalanx, 4 elite bosses, and like 2 weekly bosses.
and then like after that you're kind of stuck with like, well, the only thing I can do is either put money into the game to buy more resin, to do more dungeons or ward bosses,
Yeah.
or I just explore, right?
But
Kill war
that only
enemies and grab chests and stuff.
that once again that only goes so far. It's kind of like a cycle where if you use your resin, it's like, okay, I want to get more resin. You pay more resin, and then you
Yeah.
use it again. It's like, okay, well, what now?
Yeah,
So
it's a cycle because like
it all
like
just
right
falls back on
now.
exploring. But once
I
the
feel
exploring
like
part is over, that's just there's very little to do eventually.
I feel like what the main thing is like I noticed with like I felt like what I've noticed because I did this a couple of times is like the main game comes down to after 29. I've noticed this after I started like after I got past 29 and all, because like as like you guys said, you do your dailies and you do your resins. Obviously with like those side stories, we get to play like Klee, Razor, or that, those are fun, but
Yeah.
those can only hold you off for a certain amount of time because you go back to exploring. One thing I do notice that some people actually do is they would chain farm, which is like basically like like with the puffer flowers, chi mages and all. You can do like everybody joins one world, like taps out that resource time around that world. So like you do player one, do it till like they have their respawn timer up, then you go to player two's world, then 3, and then 4.
Hmm.
I've noticed people would do that just to like constantly get more resources because it comes down to the point of min maxing.
Yeah.
And that's a double edge to me, if I really be honest, because like you want to min max your characters, but you can't because you want to get this character up, but I need to go do Ascension, which this Ascension's needs resin. So
I will say that a lot of Ascension materials do not require resin. Like there are a few, but the
Nope.
ones that you need like 80 of at a time, it doesn't actually require resin at all.
I mean like the main one for
Yeah.
like the domain. So I mean like the domain
Yeah.
one.
But
Yeah, those usually end up requiring like basic materials that you get from any old like item or
Oh, yeah.
item
it's
pack.
more Sadie, it's not like when you run out of resin, it's not like there's nothing to do.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's actually quite a lot to do still. Like but I think this comes down to like the dual nature of the game being both like it's like trying to be a standard PC console game, but at its core, it is definitely made as a mobile game, a mobile gacha game.
I do see that some people I've also noticed that said like the gotcha part of the game comes from the resin instead of the summons, which I can somewhat agree, but not agree at the same time.
I think the game, it's hard to say, honestly, but if I'd say right now, and if I had, any sort of opinion about how the game would fall, I think it would be like they're trying to do too much in one game. Like there's a
I
lot of like systems in place,
I
for like
really think it's
there's
the
the
resin.
resin,
Yeah.
then there's the fragile resins, which you get for like leveling up and such. Then there's
That
the
I can hold
abyss,
with
which
the
I don't
one
think
though.
the abyss will ever get fledged out enough to the point where it will be like an actual separate game mode, like a roguelite. Then there's the
Yeah.
whole exploring thing. Like I don't think the devs know exactly what they want to do or bring to the table as like in
And
terms of a
granted, like
gotcha game.
the game is still like this game is so new. My main thing is I think the downing points can come from the resin because if you think about it, the basic term for the basic like thing that you always see in a gacha is a stamina bar or stamina like how much stamina you can quote unquote use.
Yeah.
Like in Genshin, it's our resin. That's basically our stamina. Oh, I can do this many domains and all. And for example, like in like Guardian Tales, it's coffee. But yeah, I do feel like one of the things they could do is give us a way to increase the original resin capacity because some games do that. So
Yeah.
then I know like in the other game I play, which is Guardian Tales, you can get like a certain amount of like these items that will increase it. It's not a whole lot, it's like by one, but that is still like it's still an upgrade nonetheless, even though it's a shitty upgrade.
But that's like not to slight like what I said to like the devs or anything, because I think that's fine, because
Oh yeah.
like you were saying, like it's basically just an incentive, the stamina meter, because you can still do stuff. It's just you can't get most rewards that you might
It,
need or end up needing
with a broad brush
to
to most
like
people
ascend.
with the game, it's like looking at like a brush. It's like everybody's gonna look at the broad brush, which is the original resin. But to like the hardcore, and it comes down to everybody who wants to min-max, they look at like the more like the precise brushes of the game, where it's like, yeah, you use your resin, but you can still go in. It's like Rax or said at one point, so you can go around the place, do the world farm, like go kill
Yeah.
villagers, wear your mask, go, how you can even like instead you can spend your time just crafting a bulk of potions and foods.
Yeah, because like the resin, I think that's a misunderstanding that some people have. The resin is not a like at first glance. I mean, I think the resin is misunderstood as like a stamina meter, because I don't think it's a stamina meter. I think because like
It's meant to stop your progression no
it's
matter
yeah,
what.
It's just a
you're
whole.
it's not like
It's
it's hard to
the
explain.
you're only
Everybody
ever meant to progress so
yeah.
far so fast within this game. One thing that would help with resin is if the cap was higher, because my actual problem right now is, so
Oh
you
yeah, you told me
have,
about this.
yeah, so I'll just state it here again. The battle pass has you using 1600 resin per week, which is more resin than you can even get in a week without
Yeah.
using fragile resins or using primo gems to
Yeah.
gain more. The daily is 150, which means you have to log into the game twice in a day. Whereas if you want to do like a mobile gotcha, like a general mobile game, gotcha game, you're gonna log in once on that day. You're gonna do your stuff, and then you're gonna log
Like
out and go do other things.
I know, like, because I was bored one day and I did like the math for that. Like, so like a full like the funniest thing though is this: it's like if there was no cap on the resin, you would actually be technically like in terms overcapped because I was like, like when you do the math, like you get one resin per 8 minutes. That's like you get like 7 resin per hour. So like roughly like it takes like you can get like probably like 40 or so resin in like 12 hours or something. Not even like in 12 hours with the daily resetting. So like you do log on twice, but it's like it's just enough to get like your daily. But yeah,
I actually
not
just
to like
find the logging on twice part to be obnoxious.
yeah. I feel like now looking at it, I feel like that's what the fragile resins are used for, is to just push you through really far into like your stuff.
Hmm.
But I won't lie, I did because I was bored. I was curious one day. I used all of my fragile resin in one dosage to just see big number, and I'm biting the bullet. Yeah, but it was a fun experiment.
I don't really notice that as much because I play like maybe like 6 hours a day or so. So like I don't really notice like the whole like logging on once and then doing nothing because I just played the entire day and just I mean like obviously there's going to be moments where I'm just like, man, I really wish I had more resin so I could finish this thing. But
Yeah. What do you think about
generally, I
Disney?
just play the entire day, so I don't really notice.
What do you think, TJ?
Ah, about the resin system, personally, I do think it needs to be improved in the sense of there needs to be more ways for a user to acquire resin outside of waiting and we're using fragile resin or pre-mill gems, honestly. So I think if you address that and you allow different methods for users to acquire resin, it'll keep people more engaged with the game because then they'll feel more inclined to play, right? Like they don't
Yeah.
have to worry about, oh man, I have to log in twice a day just to complete my daily, or I'm gonna have to use a fragile resin or use pre-mill gems. They know that I can get on and play during blah 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 time, and I have this method for acquiring more resin to get at least that done, right?
Yeah.
Because it is kind of sad when you realize that you purchased a battle pass and you still have challenges that are gatekeep by you needing to spend money, right? Like what Raxter said, the weekly challenge of you can't complete that without using fragile resin or like pre-mill gems, right? Even if you log in every day, you use your 120 resin, like right when it refreshes, like you still can't complete that challenge. And I feel like for some people to spend $10 on a battle pass and still not be able to complete those challenges without having to like essentially spend more money, it's kind of like it's distasteful. Like I feel like it's gonna leave like a sour taste in people's mouths. Like
Yeah, saying like because like I know there are some people who like enjoy seeing like the battle pass fully completed, and that is going to leave a sour taste in those people's mouth.
yeah, I feel like it's just something they probably just like overlooked it. Really, I think that's
Mhm.
something they should definitely go back and change. Probably like
I mean,
either with resin fixes or just lower the amount required for that specifically.
I
But
think they could do to fix the resin issue
yeah,
is this could be like it could like be a good idea to do this, and it's that like I remember like at the point like I did a fuck ton of, like Abyss just for the character John Ling, and that's the main issue. And obviously people does that to get like their free primo gems. But after that, like, once you got all 9 stars and got the character, there's really like, nothing else to do there. So why not make it where there are like abyss challenges where if you complete this said challenge, you get this amount of, resin from it.
So
Oh, I
the
I get what it
Abyss
is.
does have stuff. You just have to go. You have to finish all. What is it? 8 or 9 floors first to reach the next part of Spiral Abyss.
He means like
That
set out challenges, like
Yeah,
go.
kind of like, like some places like, hey, like go do
yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
floor.
That's what I mean.
Oh,
Like
but
there is repeatable stuff in
yeah.
Abyss. You just have to get to the point, which
Oh yeah.
it requires 2 teams.
That reminds me of the Abyss, by the way. That I want to talk about that more as well. I I really like the Abyss. As in, like, I really like roguelikes. I play a lot of roguelikes. I play a lot of roguelites. I love RPGs. The thing that peeves me a little bit about Abyss is you generally just steamroll through floor 7 to 9 if you have 2 5 stars compared to if you have 1 5 star because you need to really, really divide like your units and like your comp, which is
Yeah.
fine. But then once you get to floor 10, which is the repeatable, like the floors that actually reset, that have like a monthly sort of reset, I think, or 2 week. I don't remember. Either way, the rewards for that reset but the level scaling still goes up. So right now, for instance, if you're at floor 9, let's just give an example, and the enemies are level 60, and you go to floor 10, the enemies will be level 70, and then level 80, and it just keeps scaling up. And I don't like it goes past the point where your character can level.
Yeah, and
I get it's supposed to be a challenge, but once you finally get to like the abyss, right? The fact that it just keeps scaling up, it feels kind of weird to me. Like
I feel
I
like
don't know. I feel like they
I feel
would
like
just
they're
set the
trying
levels
to.
back just a tiny bit. That would be
I feel
nice.
like what they're trying to do is they're trying to do what some games do, which is kind of like Borderlands and well, mainly like Borderlands and I guess Path of Exile, how like your character's a set level, but your builds don't, because obviously you can't set your builds, your actual stats. You can make a character do insane amounts of damage if you build them right. Like how it's not like a good example, but it's a nice one to say. It's against a boss, obviously, but it's when someone made like a clip on Reddit with Barbara doing 24,000 damage to the Prio elite boss.
It was the fire one. Yep.
Yeah, well, like that's a really good example of like utilizing your stats and all right. So I feel like when it comes to that point, I feel like yeah, it scales and it does need to be tweaked. But I also feel like they're trying to see like if I feel like that's like more attached to like theory crafters and all, and trying like min max, trying to get these big numbers.
Yeah.
So I do see that.
The thing is, they don't have to work on that because your characters will eventually get that strong.
I want the Abyss to just. I want it to be more fleshed out because I want to see more of like the Abyss and more like little things in the Abyss because I enjoy Abyss a lot.
I want them to
the progression in Abyss though is kind of annoying.
I want them. What I want them to do when it comes to the repeatables is I want them to make kind of like how with because I know at the moment like there's like set cards or certain things. Like I've noticed that I'll go in like let's say like floor 3, like floor 3 chamber like 1 and 2. I've always seen like the same sets of cards majority of the time. That's around like elemental bursts and all. I feel like when I get to the higher floors, it should make it where it gives the enemies a card. Like you can get a card, but the enemies you're fighting will get like a additional buff or something.
I think there's a clear like outlier whenever there's when there's cards that you get to choose from, and it's usually get this bonus for this floor. They are usually always the best.
Oh yeah.
Like just flat attack, more physical damage, more elemental burst damage, and then the rest are like only for this chamber. And then it's like, get more attack, like way more attack for this chamber only. And that's fine, because that will make you really strong for this chamber, but not the next chamber.
Yeah,
but that rarely shows up. That rarely happens.
Yeah, I feel like those are meant for if you're trying to get like a 9-star.
It's usually the like the floors where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get this for this floor and this for this floor and this for this floor instead of this chamber, because it's usually always the best choice. Because especially when it's like already a pretty tough floor, you want to add on those like stacking bonuses because that will make you infinitely more powerful. I just want to be more fleshed out. That's basically all it comes down to.
I don't have much experience with fucking the spiral because I'm currently at that stage where I feel like a lot of people are going to hit that wall of being cut where you hit floor 5 and you realize, oh, hey, you spent all this time getting your first party strong enough to get to this floor. Congratulations. Yeah. Now you require a second party. And it's just like, oh, man.
They didn't even prepare you for that. It kind of hit in the gut.
I do want to also look at because like this is not like throw hash at people. Like I know like there's some users who would when it comes to like 15 mistakes that like noobs or whatever make, and like their main tip is like never level more than 2 characters, and I feel like that's, to me, thinking about back to like the Abyss and the 2 teams. I feel like looking back to like those videos is kind of like it's a dumb thing to say that because like they'll say that tip, feeling all confident about it, and then you go look at their next video, and what do you see? More than 2 people, because like the book, your adventurers book, that contradicts that tip. It's like, hey, remember that one rule you're talking about? Only level up 2 characters? Yeah, we're making you level up like 3 or 4 up to like level 70 or something and get those weapons up to that level.
Yeah, that's what I said too. Like about the whole like it's trying to do too much. I think we're interpreting the abyss wrong. As in, like I think we're all trying to do the abyss, while I think it's supposed to be the end game.
Yeah, there's only supposed to be so far that you can reach an abyss because your characters are not strong enough.
Yeah.
You're not necessarily supposed to be able to do Abyss
You're not
Floor 8 at
incentivized.
like the start.
It's just, can you do this? If so, cool. That's great. If you can't, okay, that's okay too.
It's like, okay, I'll get stronger. We'll
And
be
then
waiting.
I still like the whole thing of staying with like only 2 characters is the game the sheer amount of resources it takes to get to level 70 is actually quite a lot. That if you
Also-
spend time getting them to like
It feels
50,
even worse. It feels even worse if you have 2 characters who use the same
My-
materials.
Yeah, my other problem though too with it, okay, thinking back to it now.
that's also not including artifacts.
Yeah, hold on,
Yeah.
just thinking about the character
That's even worse.
itself. I feel like it's so I feel like it's so bad because like the more you play the game, to me, myself personally, the more you realize that playing the character as a way of leveling them up is never a good experience. Because like compared to getting like 5K, 15K, or like that from like the materials, you're outside in the free world, you're getting like 13 experience for that character.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Pretty
I feel like when
much leveling isn't really intended to be like that. They could actually just straight remove character level XP and then
That's it makes no difference. That's what Rexer said today as well when we talked before this. He said it might as well not be there. That's exactly how I feel about it. Like it might as well not be here because it's not
It's just
a thing usually.
distasteful when
It's-
you
it's not
get
a thing
13
usually in
XP. Like it's just weird when like you're killing enemies and you see it. Oh, congratulations, killing that Hurlitzer camp. Here's 14
But-
XP. It's just
yeah,
It's not
distasteful.
even like it adds up. It's not even
Like-
like it adds up.
I feel like what it should do is it should like with like other RPG games. They have it where like it depending on the mobs and also depending on the world and all with the levels, it adds up. Like how if you're level, let's say 1 through 30, because I think like no, it's 1 through 20 for the first ascension. It's like like 14 to
think-
like fit to 100. It's like good, but I feel like when you're around like 50 to like 70s, you should at least be in like the 1K range of obtaining experience. And I also feel like the elite bosses and like Boreas should also give you a hunky chunk of character experience as well. So that way, you can actually like have other incentives than just going over there to get an artifact or a prototype weapon to go craft a 3-star
I think personally that
or a 4-star. I mean,
that it would create a power creep if your world level would also scale the XP that you had, like gone from mobs, which would like obviously affect like lower level characters. Like let's say you have a level 70 character that you've been focusing the entire time while playing for like let's say these past 2 weeks, and then you
Yeah.
grab a level 1 character, and then they suddenly get like 2 levels every like
Oh,
few
yeah.
mob kills. And honestly, I think that's a good thing. I think that's okay. I don't think that's a
Yeah,
bad thing. That
like-
kind of power creep because
'cause,
it's not like that's a bad thing when it's
I
a
feel
level
like they
1
just do
character.
need to address the experience because with how much with how many characters you have to level up, then also gear, you have to find a way to do like the artifact stuff and all. Like in my personal opinion with the artifacts, like for leveling them up, not sending just or not even sending, just leveling them up in general, it's not really like a bad thing. Yeah, it's not like a bad thing because it's like at least with the artifacts, you get mounds of artifacts. Like it's not like really a whole lot of like a big deal to me with artifacts, weapons. There's alright, but obviously you can craft the artifact ore. But
Like once again, I don't
the further you get into the game, even the more artifacts will feel limiting because it takes so many artifacts to actually level other artifacts.
oh yeah, also
Yeah.
that.
So
It'd be nice if you could use the cards, the XP cards.
I mean,
Yeah.
actual, like-
even XP cards. I think it took me 200 to go up 10 levels.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too,
So-
totally.
Yeah,
It
I
took
feel
me
like overall
30 to get 2 levels.
they do need to address like some form of the experience.
But like we said earlier, it might as well not be there. The
Yeah,
XP, and like I said before that, I feel like they're trying to do too much with too many genres. Like, I don't think that's a place in a gacha game where you need to actually like go out and physically level. I think it's an extra thing, and it should stay an extra thing. But as of right now, it might as well not be there because the XP is so negligible that it doesn't even add up over time. Like, it's too
yeah.
little.
I mean, granted, like I do agree with that, but I also do feel like with certain things, they do need to work on some like key factors in the game, like ascensions. Like I'm not too worried about like the ascensions because like if you're really good, like managing your time with certain stuff and all, it's per se not that bad. Because like I would say it's rough if it's like tier 1 only gives you green, tier 2 only gives you like blues. I would say that would be rough, but since like literally every time you go up to the higher versions of like the domains, it gives you the previous versions of them, so you can still like craft them up to that. So like like if you need like let's say blue ones, you do enough of the blue versions, and they give you enough greens to craft like 1 or 3 of the blues. It helps you get that ascension
Yeah.
off. So I feel like with ascension, it's not bad. You can like manage your time, but if you're trying to do like 3 characters at once, it can be hellish. I will admit, it can be a hellish.
Yeah, I've leveled almost all of my characters, and I have a
Yeah.
decent chunk. I think like 8 characters
And
out of like not counting the free to play characters like Lisa, Kaya,
yeah,
the MC, Amber.
but I do say that. So
Uh,
the other things I would say I would probably personally would say is looking at like leveling up the adventure ranks, like the experience. There's gotta be some other ways of getting it because like when you look at it, it's like I think you get like 5, literally just 5 adventure experience from opening chests, I believe.
it's
Either
something
5.
like that. It's
Yeah,
like 20 for common, and then it goes up from there. But it
I don't
doesn't
even
really
think
go
it's a 20,
much past
but
20.
it could be. But it's like I feel like they could do this because like there is like random events that happens. That's only for friendship experience.
Yeah, I'd like it if the friendship thing was more fleshed out because you only just get voice lines and no like
I feel like it might could contain because with some gotcha games,
where yeah,
you
some
get
gacha games actually give you like interactions with like
costumes.
your
Oh, I was gonna say
character
like
or
costumes and
costumes,
all.
for instance. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's
but
probably
like
that.
it's
But
the friendship feels kind of useless.
I personally, it's for lore at the beginning, but yeah, I feel like it should be kind of like like, hey, go do this random event, and we'll give you like 100 like adventure
Yeah,
experience.
maybe that would also give a more like bigger incentive to like explore the world, which is a big part of the game, by the way,
Yeah,
in case you
because
haven't
like
noticed.
if you look at it, you get your map, you get 600 adventures experience from the resin. It doesn't matter what you do.
It'd be nice
Boreas,
if they gave you like some XP for like the
yeah,
random events because I'm
yeah.
ignoring them now.
Because when you
They
look at
give
it all, like when you look at like from like a min maxer and like how you try like effectively grind it, chests they're good for like the chains, but for like the big jumps, because most people they look for like the big jump gaps, or like you can get like a big gap and it done. It's like resin, your 120 resin gives you like 600 adventures experience. Doesn't matter what you do 6 Fey lines or 4 domains or elite bosses and 2 weekly monsters
Yeah,
gives you 600 flat out. And then like from there, obviously your adventurer's handbook with its daily commissions. I think it's like a max of 1,500. And that's a decent chunk.
that's another
Granted,
thing
I think
I
it's
kind of
1,500.
wanted is
Yeah.
like some sort of like see. I don't want to do the same thing every single fucking day on
You want
Genshin with like the
more
dailies. The dailies are use resin, log in, and then what was the rest? Mine like 10 or
10
something. Mine
things
like
and
10.
4 commissions.
Yeah, and then 4 commissions, which is that's your daily stuff. I wish they had some sort of like
is it a
weird
Val Pass?
grocery list,
No, it's
if I
just
can
the
call it that.
standard daily.
Yeah,
Oh.
like on the battle pass.
Well, actually,
I
the
wish they had
standard
some
daily
sort
is primo gems.
I wish
The
they had some sort of
commissions.
weird like grocery lists of like, oh, go kill this boss for fucking once, or something to make it more interesting to like spice
Yeah.
it up, because it's very much like a pattern as of right
Because I
now.
feel like it's gonna get to the point, okay, it's gonna get to the point where people are gonna do this. They're gonna either do this. They're gonna do two Boreases, join one person's group, do them together, then do it on other friends and like do that, and then just like fully drain out those little like mini characters, skirmishes, Chinchi, Electro Mages, Abyss Mages, like because
Yeah,
it's
I
getting to the
stopped
point
doing
where
those.
yeah. Well, I mean, if you're trying to like keep up like your materials, it's the most effective way. I'm not gonna lie. You get three
Of
friends, and
course,
then you go
'cause-
down the list, and usually by the time you get to your first friend, the first one should be refreshed, and then you just go down again. Should be.
like honestly, I like the game so far, but there needs to be some fine tuning.
Yeah, I enjoy the game. It's just at the
The
current
beta,
state. Oh,
the beta testing has definitely done the game some justice though.
yeah.
Like the game feels very fleshed out. I don't feel like there's a lot of missing content or anything of the sort. I like the game. It just needs
I
fine
think the
tuning.
game just needs refinement. Like it just needs to be fine tuned and refined.
Yeah.
Because
What-
now that it's in the hands of the masses, they can see what issues they need to fix or work on. Like really, so
Yeah. With me, it's just like I enjoy the game a lot, but at the moment, because this is the one thing about with most new gotchas is that there's not a whole lot of like characters or that. So myself personally, I enjoy it a lot, but the characters that's currently are out just don't pique my interest. Like
Yeah.
if we want to go down into like talking about leaks and all of that, I would personally say Child is my most favorite looking character to play as.
Mhm.
But other than that, it's like the current characters just don't catch my interest. Bennett, he's interesting. Dulak, I don't enjoy clicking E and auto 24/7. But basically, it's just at the moment there's like no characters that appeals to me that much to like fully like play a whole lot of. So it has its rough bumps, but overall the pavement's usually like smooth with its bumps, of course.
Are you excited to play more despite any downsides? That's the
Um,
question we have written down.
I mean, currently, my other thing is like I am looking forward to it, but obviously, like that can it can change depending on how the game turns. For a fact. Obviously, at the moment, I wouldn't really say it's in a honeymoon, but to some people, it can be still in a honeymoon phase. So at the current point, yeah, I'm excited to play it still, but I'm looking forward to like when there's like more events and all.
I think
Can,
I think I'm excited to play it too. I'll keep sticking with this for a while. Let's see where it goes. What about you, TJ and Rexer?
personally, no skin off my back for playing this game. I still find it fun. I mean, so, but at the moment, it's just there really isn't much for me to do. Like I'd like to play the game more, but there just really isn't much for me to do. Right? I get on, do my commissions, burn through my resin, and that's kind of about it. Like until I essentially like groom my second party, I can't even really continue Spiral Abyss. So I'm
Yeah,
kind
I
of
agree.
limited on that in the
Yeah.
aspect. Like I feel like you are like a lot of players are gonna have to kind of accept that fact of you're just gonna hit a point when you're playing where you're probably not really gonna be able to progress anymore, and it's gonna take a lot more time than what you're putting in because you're just either gonna have to like open your wallet or just be able to be like what it's fine that I can't do this now. I'll just
Think
do every stuff
about
every day and just kind of level up as I can. So
what about you, Raxer? Before I get
Oh.
into this point.
I'm definitely going to keep playing the game more. Actually, I really enjoy this game, and it's definitely one I'm going to stick with. I definitely want to play more, and despite all of the resin stuff, which it's like there's still fun to be had. Like I don't mind it being a game where I log in, do stuff real quick, and then go off and go do something else because it's like it's a game where like it's literally a gotcha game, which
Yeah,
all
it's
gotcha
super chill.
all gotcha games function like this,
I
where
was also
you
gonna
reach the
go-
point where you run out of stuff.
One thing I want to add is I think it is kind of I say like we say that, but we don't mean it like in a bad way, right?
No.
Because
Right, no,
I don't
no.
mean it in a bad way. 'Cause I think actually in a weird way, I think it's kind of a good thing because when you think about like just people in general, like right, not a lot of people have time to always pump into stuff like this, and especially like once we hit like this holiday season when there's gonna be like a bunch of stuff coming out, like tons of new things coming out. It's still going to be nice to be able to know that, like, all right, well, I could just spend like an hour or two of my life and just log into Genshin, right? Play for a bit, do the stuff I need to do, level up. Maybe now, oh, cool, I'm strong enough to do Spiral, so tomorrow I'll do that, or after I'm done doing all my things,
I was
and it
also
works out
gonna-
just fine. So
I was also gonna point to the point of like, even though it's counted as a quote unquote, I'm saying this because I'm gonna put some evidence about it. Gotcha. You don't really see a gotcha because usually with like with most gotchas they sell you at the very beginning. They make it where you know it at the beginning, but you don't you only see it of the gotcha part technically is when you get to rank like 29 or something essentially where you have to pump that resin out like basically like monthly or like every like 30 minutes or something. So even though it's like the gotcha's there because you can spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars to get characters, overall it's like you don't have to spend that money to get characters. Every character can be extremely good. It's just I only see when the wallet comes out is when you have to get to the resin part. But even then, it's like you look back and it's like, do I really have to? Like I dealt with it all the way up to this point. Doesn't bother me till then.
But granted, as you said yourself, you're not enjoying the game as much as you could as if you had characters that you really enjoyed.
Oh yeah.
Now,
Well, like, I do.
that is where the gotcha really comes in and really just bites
Yeah.
you across the face. It's like, man, I want Diluc. Someone's looking at Diluc and they're like, yo, this dude is sick. He's got a flaming sword. You see him in
Yeah.
all of you see him in the cutscenes. He
You
has
see
like
him
the best
cutscenes,
cutscenes.
dialogue, like even in the
He's
trailers.
rich.
I can
Well,
confirm D-Luke is cool. Yes, he is cool.
Yeah,
He is
I
cool.
literally- and then like that's where it grabs you. But I mean, like after that point, like let's say randomly you get lucky during the beginner's bundle and you got him right off the bat. Okay, let's just say that. Then there's perchance not really the whole gotcha is not really like reeling you in on their hook. Because like they gave it to you right off the bat for free. And obviously, like you can do rerolls till you get your quote unquote dream team and all, but overall, it's like that. Now, there's not like one character. It's not like some games like, oh, this character's best for this. Only use this character. It's like any character can be a best. Thing like even though most people count Jean as a DPS, she can be a phenomenal healer. Even though like Noelle might be an extremely good tank, she can be a really good, DPS. Overall, I'm just saying like every character,
Yes.
majority characters can play mostly any role. So the gotcha of getting characters can't per se like hook you.
But
For
you
most
want
people, like,
that
yeah, you want.
character. Like
You want it.
you want Child.
Oh yeah,
You
and
will
I won't lie.
enjoy the game so many times more when you get Child.
Oh yeah,
That's where they
I-
get you. That's where you open
I
up
will
your
agree.
wallet.
That's
It's not.
when they. That's when they do. That's when you grab the wallet and they grab the fucking blowtorch and they burn a hole underneath your wallet. Yeah.
But I feel like the thing with this game though is I don't know. I'm not really big on the gacha scene, so I don't know if other people feel other ways. But like personally, I never really play. I don't play gachas, right?
Yeah.
Because one, you don't really play them. Like it's usually like
It plays itself.
yeah, it plays itself, right? And I don't like being passive if I'm playing a game. I'd rather be proactive. That's why I don't really like playing games like RuneScape and stuff. Because I mean, I don't want to AFK in something. It's kind of I'm not really playing a game at that point. So, but with this game, when you get the characters, you can actually play them. Like they have abilities, weapons, like you can really play the character that you get rather than just slot it into a party and let it do stuff.
I think that's the one thing how it caught my attention more with Genshin. Now going back to it, it's like Genshin caught my attention more thinking back to that now is mostly because like the other like mobile games I play that are gotchas, like how TJ said, you get to play the character, you get to do their abilities and all. You know, there's some of the gotchas that I played, you know, you actually played the characters, even though it's like a side-scrolling kind of like game. You still like they have their own abilities, have their own like skills. So overall, it's not just slapping them on. Like obviously with some gotchas, you know, there are free roaming and all, but Genshin does kind of keep it behind the curtains, but overall, it's still there. Like, you know, it isn't like, hey, you know, this is private. We don't want nobody knowing our dirty secrets. Like, you can open that curtain and just invite gotcha. But overall, for people who doesn't want to see it, they do keep it your eyes, you know, peeled away from it.
Right. Like you can definitely play this game like free to play all the way. Like if you really, really want to, right? Like and that's what a lot of people are doing. Like they're they're not putting money in, they're just playing it as is because like unlike other games, like this game actually does kind of like set you up for that, right? Like if you play if you play currently, right, you can get like free characters from just playing the game and it's super cool and super nice right there, right? It sets you up for it. So at least that's nice, you know, like at least they don't try and like screw you over like that.
But like, at the same point, it's like they do give you like now also like they give you 3 characters with if we look at the characters thing, like they give you 3 characters from the story. Kaya, Lisa, and Amber. You know, they're alright, even though they're mean, Amber being a lighter, Kaya being a fucking bridge, you know. they're still decent, you know, characters, but other than that, it's like right now, before 1.1, obviously, you know, they give you Barbara, which overall is a really decent healer. She's good at her job of healing.
I feel like that needs to be a permanent thing because otherwise you're not getting a healer in this game.
Yeah, which I heard complaints about people who played like in beta, and they're like, yeah, playing the game without a healer compared to like getting a healer for confirmed in this is like night and day difference.
But yeah, it's like, you know, they give you that for free, and then obviously with the abyss of getting Xiangling, you know, gives you that, of course, but then the beginner's bundle, I don't know if that's gonna persist.
The beginner's bundle does persist forever. So they'll likely add more characters to it.
Yeah. And with that in mind, then
did we hit every topic, by the way?
No, of course we did.
We got one more though.
I need to pee.
Well, by all means, go pee.
I'll give my thoughts about the event.
Yeah. But it's like with that, it's like with the bundles you have, like bundle, the beginner's bundle, they give you even more characters. If you look at it, there's 3 from the story, 2 from the event. Barbara, like obviously the Barbara one should be persistent, but at the current pace, so that's 5. And then the beginners, depending on your luck, you could probably hit like 10 characters right off the bat. I've seen my friend got, because I got my friend into this game. Obviously, he got Noel, but he got like 3 5-stars right off the fucking bat.
Anyway.
So, like,
yeah, some people just have the luck.
Oh yeah.
like I mean, like I want myself. Like I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna make a reroll account just to see what I got. Got Mana, Chi right off the bat in my beginner's bundle. So obviously, like depending on luck, you get even more characters. But overall, they're not stingy. I would say they're not stingy with characters at the beginning. It does kind of get to that pace throughout the game, obviously because your odds are kind of a little bit weighed if you do the normal banner because of the weapons and that. But overall, they do set you up with some nice options at the beginning, and then from there, depending on your luck, you get even more options.
Anyway, I like the event. The event's fine. It doesn't feel like a co-op event. It feels more like a multiplayer event. I think it's okay. Could be better because it's kind of boring. I have to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Okay.
You should be on.
I personally haven't played it yet. I haven't been on for the event yet.
You got about 4 or 5 more days.
You got till Monday. You have till weekly reset, basically. So
yeah, it doesn't take too long. You kind of do it 20 times, and
I completed it in like a few hours.
I think,
so it wasn't too bad.
I still need to do it in the 3 minutes though.
My main Like from looking from the first impression, I said it's still kind of like first impression from the on paper. I think what my biggest like this my like encouraging me away was like the resin usage. I don't know like how much it costs to take the bounties from inside.
So
Like,
it takes 40 to actually accept the treasure, but what you do is you just don't accept the treasure and you do the event for the other event rewards.
well,
Yeah, because there's battle pass challenges and an alchemy handbook full of challenges you can still complete as well.
Yeah, obviously they said
And
that.
and that's
But
where you get your
then-
primo gem, like 200 primo gems. So it's nice.
Yeah. Okay, but other than that, it's like, I haven't tried. But from what I've heard, it seems pretty fun. I haven't played that much because obviously, waiting for tried. But overall, it's just other games. But yeah, from what I've heard, the event was probably fun. Minus everybody baby raging about Ryzen.
So I actually have a lot to say about the event personally. So I guess I'll just start from the top here.
Alright.
I think the event's really good. It has its pros and it has its cons, right? So at the moment I've played the event quite a bit. I'm like I completed it day one, and I actually used the I've actually been using their little official Discord to like to get, I guess, LFG for groups, because a lot of people are doing various co-op things in there, and they need like they'd be like, hey, can you help me kill Wolf on World Level 3 and stuff like that. So it's pretty fun to like team up with people like that and help them clear things, and you don't have to use resin for any of that. So, but the co-op event, I think it's really fun. There, I think the only reason why, like, my cons with it are like, one, it really shows like the server stability, right? So there's like a bug with the event where sometimes certain people just won't be able to pick up the cubes to turn in anymore, and the only fix for it is like relogging. And if that happens like in a run, like as you're like, maybe you're only like a minute in, it's a really like crippling bug, because you kind of just like, you can't carry stuff anymore, and like you basically make it to where everyone that's in there is working with 3 people instead of working with 4, right? Which is kind of a detriment, because the cubes do kind of spawn all over, and it does really take a group effort to like get like an efficient, to get an efficient time. Like I think they also need to, extend it. I don't think a week is enough, right? Like, it should be something that's longer, and unless they plan on doing more co-op events, which down the line more than likely, but I know there's not going to be one probably following this one, right? You're probably going to have to wait like another few weeks or something for the next one to come out, which makes me a little sad when you play, because it shows me the potential that this game has if they really do focus on like co-op, right? If they kind of invest a bit more resources into the co-op and flesh it out a bit more, I think that alone could really motivate people to play the game a lot more, even outside of like having no resin.
Speaking about co-op, I feel like one of my disappointments with co-op is I was personally looking forward to it when you could do the story missions with your friends. I felt like I felt like that would be kind of like a little cool thing. Like, obviously, like, you guys get your own cutscenes and all, but I feel like it'd be kind of a nice thing where like you can go do the same quests together than just all solo,
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, like, some of you might be like, but that'd be kind of like, you can take advantage of new players, get more adventure rank, but obviously in other games, you can make it where it's like you just get 0, but you can still join for the ride. Because I noticed, like, I remember when me and Rax, when we played co-op, he couldn't like interact with like the shrine because it's in co-op, which to me it's kind of like,
yep, no chest.
Like, no chest. Like, the person can't grab the chest. I feel like outside of the like the dungeons and all of that, co-op is very bare. It's just kill mobs, and you can't enjoy like getting chests with friends, going to do the quests with them, and collecting your own like geocubes and all. So I feel like
the co-op is like its own. I could talk about that for hours, the co-op stuff, but the co-op event, at least it's fun. I definitely think if you're playing Genshin Impact You need to get on that. You should do it. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it a lot. Like I even do it sometimes. I complete all the challenges, but I still do it sometimes. It's still just fun to like kill enemies with other people and characters and have different party
You
setups
also
and
get the
everything.
achievements,
So
for doing the co-op stuff.
Co-op is something that's actually really good for a player because it allows them to get vastly more resources than they can do on their own.
Yeah,
Especially
that's
with
what I said at
everyone
the very
just swap
beginning.
jumping between
That's-
worlds, and that's probably something a lot of people aren't doing.
Yeah, I feel like that's like the one big complaint is people saying like, I can't get enough resources. But if you think about it, most people who like hard grinds at leisure when it comes to games, you get like the hardcore players, like you said at one point, Raxer, and it's like you get to the point where it's like, oh, here's the efficient way of doing this. So like, I need Hillager Mask. Go join another person's like world and help them drain their large Hillagers out, and then you go to the yours and they do it too. And it's not like a win loss. It's like a win win because you're both still getting stuff. It isn't like the Phalanx. Well, you can do it with Phalanx, but it isn't like the chest and all where you can't open the chests. You can still go out and kill cryo mages and all. And it doesn't even stop that because like the book, it allows you to mark the mobs. After that cooldown, it sounds like all of them are killed. No, it just says we're not gonna show you where they are anymore.
It's more so like the elite ones are dead, but there's still others roaming through the world.
Yeah, there's still others. We won't give you a finite pathway towards them. You just have to find them on your own. So, but overall, it's like if you have like a static of like 3 other people with you, you can easily like hop on, get your resin with go kill all of like the outside mobs together in everybody's world and just to max out all the resources as possible. I don't know if you can do it with like Crystal Ore because I don't think that's I think that's world based instead of player based because I remember at times like I was like stealing some of your Crystal Ore at one point.
So yeah, both people can get ore. Yeah, when they're next
From
to
the
each
same
other.
layer.
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess at the same point, like you can do that with your ore because like there are like a lot of points of interest of like ores and all that. So if they know the points of interest as well, you can obviously maximize on that too. The only other issues is the expeditions too. I don't think they're like useful. I guess.
I think some of them are just not rewarding enough for the amount of time you send a character out. The money one is especially not. It's like 5,000 for 20 hours. That's basically nothing.
I don't work. I
like-
do the crystal ore one with white iron chunks. That's what I do personally.
So I've been doing the crystal ore and some food mats because it's very rare that I'm actually like looking for those food mats. But when I actually need to make the food, it's like
with me, what I do because I have a bunch of characters that I just don't play. So like I have them out. I can only have 2 out, but when I can have another one, I usually do the white iron chunks and the crystal chunks, and I do the chicken eggs or the bird's eggs because I have like probably if I go on the game right now, I probably have like 300 of everything, like jam, ham, like all of that because usually I'm very high on Mora, and every day I'll hop on, I'll just buy out all the stuff, all the shops. Like I'll buy all the milk, like everything from both Leeway and Mondstadt's resource shops. And so I'm very high on food, but it's always just the eggs. The eggs are the ones I'm always low. That's just because you can only find them on buildings and random fucking trees. And occasionally on like wooden beams. Welcome back. So I tend to do that for my explorations. Just use eggs and white iron ore, crystal chunks. If I'm in the game, I'll do like an hour long expedition. But when if I'm hopping off for the rest of the day, I do a 20-hour one for them, just to maximize. That's what I personally do. And thinking about the resources, I guess, as I get to the point of like crafting. I enjoy the crafting because characters get certain buffs. I don't know about you guys with that.
But yeah, I think that at least for a first co-op event, definitely pretty good. I hope they take the feedback that they get from it and they make the next co-op event even better. So
Yeah.
I would be really interested, like, if they did like more dungeon style domains, because most of them are one off, but like they could do that for a co-op event
Thinking
sort of in the
about
future.
that, what do you? This is obviously like this is like leaked and there's rumors, but just pretend like I'm like, assuming that the rumors and leaks are true. What are you guys thinking about that 8-man dungeon thing that people are apparently
Sounds
talking?
fucking cool.
It sounds like someone made it up.
Well, yeah, obviously, like if it's made, like yeah, I know
But
that, but like
I
if
would
it is
like
true,
more content of that
Yeah.
sort. But yeah.
I think it'd be cool if we can start getting raids into the game. That'd be kind of a cool thing. Cause like some other like gacha games, they have like raid formats where like you go fight a certain boss with a certain amount of people.
I want more co-op sort of events, or
Yeah.
more co-op in general, because I think that's something that Genshin Impact could really bring to the table with its gameplay, compared to
Yeah.
like some other gacha games.
Cause like when you think about it, it's cause like obviously like yeah, you can go in solo, one healer, one tank, 2 DPS, with one mostly being like a support. But you have where it's like 4 players, it can make it even more fun.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But granted, I do hope that in the current feature they might allow us to have like more talent and all that allows us to go into co-op, because it is said that some characters talents don't go for everybody. So like for example, like Noel's breast shield, when you're like at 30% health, that doesn't proc on other players. Only procs on you and your like second character if it's like 2 people playing together. So I do hope that like they make it where if it's like in the game, everybody gets one. If it's like this low health,
Right.
so that'd be like a better way of like making use of, because like at the current pace with co-op in the free roam and all, you can't make use with Noel's breastplate. You can't make use of Barbara's healing if it's like all 4 different players. So
well, no, you can use
Yeah,
Barbara's
you can.
healing.
Yeah, that
Oh, you
works. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
oh
Yeah,
okay.
I've used it quite a bit. You just gotta remember when you can only heal when you have her melody loop active. So, and whenever you
It goes
damage
on every
enemies.
active player.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
whenever it's no, it doesn't go on everyone, but it goes on just Barbara if you're playing
But
co-op.
well, that I was wondering, like, if, like let's say like you have like 4 players and everybody's having their own control. Does like affect like does Barbara affect those 3 active players?
So
Yeah,
the
like-
way Barbara's healing works is that she has her what is it, melody loop on,
Yeah,
and unlike when you're switching out characters, it's not gonna like go on to other characters. But while she has it active, every time she attacks, she heals.
yeah. And if you like use the charged attack, it heals like more than like a normal attack.
Yeah,
And then naturally, you have the ultimate, which also does work on everyone as well.
and obviously with the constellation, it does revive people, which is pretty nice. But yeah, I mean, like overall,
Right.
I do hope that in the current new characters they implement that they like put into consideration of like co-op.
All right, so now that we are pushing that hour 20, let's wrap it up and say our final thoughts before going.
I like the
First,
game. Needs polishing, but I like the game, and I like playing it.
I myself am looking forward to new characters, but as well as like new stats and all, to tinker and see where it synergizes with. Looking forward to like the theory craftings and wasting all my mats on random characters to try different things out.
Final thoughts. Great game. I think it needs a lot of polishing, and I'm more excited to see where it goes from here.
And I am pretty much ready to see how much bigger this game can get, because man, if they're adding a total of like 7 more regions, this map is going to be huge and we're going to need more ways to traverse it than just walking and teleporting.
Or dash. But yeah.
So maybe we'll probably come back around again together, meet up if around little bit after 1.1 comes out. So
Mhm.
this has been On The Impact, an On The Rax podcast. Your host, Raxer, together with his boys, Z, TJ, and Exy. Signing out, logging out. This will eventually have something more,
Something more
good. But this is the placeholder. Anyone got anything else that they would want? Anyone?
No.
All right, yeah.
Play Genshin Impact.
Play
Follow me on
Genshin
Twitter.
Impact. Not sponsored.
And not on Steam, I think.
Not
Follow me
on
on
Steam.
Twitter.
Not on
Is
Steam.
free.
Yeah.
And don't waste your money too much.
You got nothing to
Gambling.
lose.
Yeah, just spend $50, you'll be okay.
Peace out, friends.
Support the devs.
Support the devs. Lay out your wallet.
Or don't.
Just hand them your
Just-
credit cards.